Well, it's International Fight Week. It's past 4th of July weekend, but technically kind of 4th of July weekend still. So which means it's the biggest card for the UFC. And oh boy, it's time to talk about UFC 213, Garbrandt versus Dillashaw for the UFC bantamweight title. Now, Garbrandt and Dillashaw, we know the history. Team Alpha Male, TJ Dillashaw he's a snake. He left Team Alpha Male, and now Garbrandt, Cody No Love, he wants to knock out TJ Dillashaw. This is going to be a great fight. I mean, it didn't happen. Cody Garbrandt had secret surgery that he had to do in Germany. Who is Cody Garbrandt? Is he Kobe Bryant? Is he the Black Mamba where he's getting surgery in Germany? You have to get surgery and like out of state on his back. So Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw did not happen, but it's okay, guys, because we had the Lioness, Amanda Nunes, the woman who retired Miesha Tate, the woman who retired Ronda Rousey, most likely. So that's good. She's facing off against a woman that gave her troubles, and Valentina Shevchenko. I mean that's good, right? That's good. We get that. Oh, Amanda Nunes is sick? Wait, she was cleared to fight, though. But she's sick. So she didn't want to fight. Well, there goes another UFC 213 main event to talk about. Amanda Nunes was sick. Pulled out the fight with Shevchenko, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the Bullet's last name. It's a hard name to pronounce. Sue me. But yeah, Amanda Nunes pulled out, so which means that Joanna Jędrzejczyk has wanted to fight. Oh my God, yes, Joanna, champion. We love you. You're a gangster. And the Nevada State Commission saying nope. Well, at least UFC 213 also had El Cucuy taking on Nate Diaz. I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. Oh, wait. Nate was asking for too much money? The guy who was part of your two biggest pay-per-view draws was asking for too much money? So you didn't want to put El Cucuy versus Nate Diaz? Well, El Cucuy, Tony Ferguson, I mean, he's a big lightweight name. He fought on the show, right? Wait, no? The dumble-eared fuck didn't fight on the show. El Cucuy didn't fight on the show. What was El Cucuy doing? Oh, bitching about how no one's on my level. So you're telling me the biggest lightweight name you have did not fight on this show? Oh, Robbie Lawler and Donald Cerrone, here we come. And once again, this fight is not happening. UFC 213 got hit hard by the injury bug. The injury bug did not want UFC 213 to be successful or do good at all. At all. There's a bunch of situations and stuff that made UFC 213 look like an appealing card into possibly one of the cards where you're just like, ugh. I mean, UFC 214 in Anaheim. And I'm not even having my fingers crossed because Anaheim loves getting fucked up when it comes to their UFC cards. I wonder if this will be the second time I'll have to ask for a refund for the UFC for my tickets. Yes, I am going to UFC 214, so don't expect a recap for that one. But UFC 214, I'm wondering if that will even fruition. We'll have to wait and see. But UFC 213 was actually pretty decent. And honestly, was a good MMA show. It just lacked that MMA star power. It lacked the names. It lacked the big fights. It lacked the stat card field that this card was supposed to have. This card was supposed to be a huge, big stat card. This is International Fight Week. You're putting the Gracie Killer Sakuraba into your UFC Hall of Fame. You're putting the California Kid, Uriah Faber, into the UFC Hall of Fame. You want to see these guys go at it. You want to see these guys have like a big show to celebrate their careers in. But instead, UFC 213 was more of just like, hey, we got 214 next later in the month. Make sure you watch UFC 214. Because, oh, man, they shoved the John Jones promos right up our fucking ass. I swear to God, every 2 minutes after every fight, let's look at a John Jones promo. John Jones is talking about how he needs redemption. John Jones is going to redeem himself. John Jones is this. John Jones fucked up. John Jones is the greatest of all time. John Jones this, John Jones that. Holy schmoly. I didn't even know DC was champion. If you were watching all those UFC video packages that they were making, shoot, you wouldn't even think Daniel Cormier was their champion. You would think, oh, John Jones is the champion, obviously, still, and still, hashtag. Because, like, there's no way you would think Daniel Cormier is a champion. No way. They didn't even promote Daniel Cormier as a champion, man. Oh, no, John Jones was, like, the champion throughout the whole video packages, man. They're just showing John Jones how he fucked up and stuff like that. But they were great video packages. I will give the UFC that. I'm super hyped for UFC 214 even more now. So, yeah, I'm super hyped for that. There's also a bunch of other UFC cards in between UFC 214. So UFC's doing that disgusting thing where they have way too many cards. I hate when the UFC does that. Just have 2 cards a month at maximum. You don't need to have 4 cards, and especially ones that are just a waste of our time, just being dead honest here. But let's talk about UFC 213, shall we? Let's talk about this race at the Las Vegas T-Mobile Arena. And Yoel Romero, the Soldier of God, for the interim middleweight championship was our main event. Rob Font and Douglas Silva de Andrade were happy that, you know, a fight got pulled because they got a main card bump. Rob Font, this kid's good. I like what I see out of this guy. Has great movement, great hand speed, great technique. You know, I had to see him up against a higher level guy. But honestly, give me Rob Font and John Johnson. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see these two just scrap at each other, man. Rob Font's a fighter, and Douglas looked good in this fight too. He just wasn't on Rob Font's level. Rob Font ended up winning with the submission guillotine choke. Then Anthony Showtime Pettis took on Jim Miller, and this was a good fight between these two guys. 2 good veteran UFC fighters. Man, it's crazy to think Jim Miller is still fighting at such a high level. Like, it's not like Jim Miller sucks. Like, I don't want to hear anyone think Jim Miller sucks. Jim Miller does not suck. Jim Miller is a good fighter. He's fighting at a high level, though, man, for his age and everything like that. Jeez, he's fighting at a high level, man. If only if Jim Miller was at the right place at the right time. You know, Jim Miller, he could have been a UFC lightweight champion back in the day. You know, he was in line to face Frankie Edgar, but then great manner, then Frankie Edgar had the tie, and so then Edgar versus Maynard 3 happened, and thus Jim Miller didn't get the title shot, and as so goes it in life. But this fight was good, and Anthony Showtime Pettis looked really good. He looked like the champion, Anthony Showtime Pettis. He looked like the former UFC lightweight champion, because some things about Anthony Pettis, I don't know what it was. After he lost the belt, sometimes he almost went to the Johnny Hendricks effect, where he looked like he never was a champion in the first place. But Anthony Showtime Pettis looked like a former UFC champion, looked like a stud, and it's unfortunate for Jim Miller. He just got outclassed by a higher level fighter, and that's just the bottom line when it comes down to it. Curtis Baldes and Daniel Omorazuk. I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch this fight. It looked like a boring heavyweight exchange, and from what I saw on Twitter, no one seemed to care. So moving on forward to my boy, Alistair Overeem, taking on Fabricio Werdum, the third encounter between these guys. And really, to be honest here, this fight right here between Overeem and Werdum was a really good heavyweight exchange. I gave the first round to Overeem, second round to Werdum, third round Overeem. That was just me. That's just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me. I know everyone was upset that Werdum didn't win, but let's be real here. Werdum's going to get a heavyweight title shot soon. It doesn't matter because, like, the heavyweight division, it's so slim. It really is slim. Can you name me other heavyweights that are in the top 10 that are worth a damn? I mean, Black Beast showed that he was just hyped because he was eating like Popeyes before his fight with Mark Hunt. You're not going to give like freaking Mark Hunt a title shot anytime soon. You ain't going to give freaking Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez still has to get cleared by his doctors. So why are fans all like, boo, oh, Fabricio got screwed? I get it. Most of the fans were Brazilian. I get it. But at the same time, you got to understand, you know he's going to get a title shot soon. And Stipe Miocic may face Overeem again, but really, to be honest, Dana White's hoping that Stipe would face off against Cain Velasquez before he faces off against Stipe Miocic. That's for a damn fact. So really, to be honest here, I don't understand. I honestly do not understand the hate that Overeem got after winning this fight. But a good fight nonetheless. Overeem and Werdum delivered on their third encounter, with Overeem winning. And now it's time to talk about the main event of the evening. Yoel, Soldier of God, Romero, taking on Robert, Bobby Knuckles, the Reaper, Whittaker, the Australian-born man. Oh, by the way, UFC's going back to Australia. This is like a random thing that they had to tell us. They're like, by the way, UFC's back in Australia. I was like, okay. But yes, Robert Whittaker versus Yoel Romero. This fight delivered. It was a good fight, a really good fight, and one I suggest you watch. Definitely worth the championship value. Definitely a good fight between these men. I want to see a rematch in the future. Now, a couple things to note. The first round of the fight, I gave the first round to Robert Whittaker. And the reason being is I felt Robert Whittaker, yes, Yoel Romero hit more strikes in the first round, but he only outlanded Whittaker by 4 strikes, in my personal opinion. Like by 4 strikes. And in my personal opinion, I take takedown defense as a big scoring in my book because, geez, man, Robert Whittaker was looking good with the takedown defense, and he had better counterpunches in the first round. So I gave round 1 to Robert Whittaker. But I can understand if you went by the lame style of judging, you would give it to Yoel Romero. You know, it's funny. I see all these MMA journalists and media members and guys who fight like Kenny Kenflo Florian, and they were saying Yoel Romero 10-9, and I was saying, aren't you the same idiots that always complain about how there needs to be new judging and scoring in MMA? Like seriously, they're the ones that complain that much, and yet they're still scoring like the judges. Honestly, that's ridiculous. I do not know how people were just so set that Yoel Romero won round number 1. He did not hit an effective takedown. If anything, he was wasting energy by going for that takedown. Robert Whittaker stuffed him and landed better counter clean shots. How in the heck do you not give that to Robert Whittaker? Where are you giving to Yoel Romero? What, because he landed a little bit more leg kicks and oblique kicks? Are we that really stuck in the times? Are we that really behind on the times? Seriously, I figured Ariel Helwani, one of the biggest, and literally one of the biggest nose heads in freaking MMA, you would think out of him, he would try to change the scoring up, try to convince idiots on Twitter that, no, you were wrong with this, but no, he goes with the flow. Shows what Ariel Helwani knows. What an idiot. I mean, dead serious when I say that shit, man. I do not know how Yoel Romero won round number 1 at all. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was more aggressive, but that's some old school judging. And if you're going to go by off that basis, you are terrible. Round number 2, Yoel Romero won easily. He was attacking Robert Whittaker. He looked like the better fighter. Round number 3, though, Yoel Romero made the biggest mistake. And honestly, this was where you knew Robert Whittaker was going to win this fight. Like, I wanted to post out a tweet that Robert Whittaker's winning this fight, but Yoel Romero still has, like, so much knockout power in him that it would have just been too cocky. But, man, dude, he did not give a frick in the 3rd round, Yoel Romero. He just stood there and he took everything Robert Whittaker was throwing at him. And honestly, I want to look at the CompuStrike stats for that. I think he only threw like 1 or 2 punches and only hit 1. To me personally, you could give that round a 10-8 to Whittaker. And I'm surprised judges didn't give it a 10-8 to Whittaker because Whittaker was controlling everything in that round. Like, seriously, Yoel Romero did nothing in round 3. At all. At all. Like, Yoel Romero did nothing in round 3. And to me personally, a 10-8 rounds when you're just dominating the full. I've seen them terrible 10-8 rounds been given out to other shit. To me personally, Yoel Romero, he just honestly did not give a fuck in that round. And to me personally, I'm judging that. If I see a fighter's not fighting, man, I ain't giving that person a 10-9. Oh, screw that. If you're coasting like that, you ain't getting no dang 10-9. You got a 10-8. So really, to be honest, I had Robert Whittaker winning that round 10-8. Round 4, Whittaker, 10-9. Easy. He looked like the better fighter. Yoel Romero tried too much. Like, Yoel Romero literally was like his own worst enemy in this fight because I get it. He wanted to try the takedown. But really, to be honest, after the first 2 rounds, where you were really not that successful with your takedowns, where you only hit 2 takedowns out of the, 8 that you tried in the first 2 rounds, you would think that if you're dead shit tired, you would not just go for the takedowns. You would say, screw it, I am just going to bang. Because for whatever reason, this guy still respects my power. So I am not afraid because I can take a punch and I'll fight with him. And if anything, it gives me more time to just stand there and do nothing. But honestly, Robert Whittaker won that 4th round. And then in the 5th round, One of the best 5th rounds I've seen in quite some time. It wasn't no gruesome brawl or awesome epic affair. It was just these two guys trying to finish each other, and it was great. These guys were trying to finish each other. They were tired as fuck. There was no power in their punches. They were just hitting each other. Unfortunately, Yoel Romero had to slip, and Robert Whittaker jumped on that victory like it was a Salisbury steak. He was like, oh, man, here's my ticket. I'm winning that UFC title. He jumped into that thing, and he beat the crap out of Yoel Romero on the bottom. Romero, he was too tired. He was like, nope, I ain't doing this, man. I'm good. Robert Whittaker ended up winning the UFC interim middleweight title. We got an awkward exchange with Michael the Count Bisping because Bisping was all like, you want to take my belt? Well, take it. And he just threw the belts. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It was dumb. And sadly, we did not get a funny Yoel Romero fight interview, so that was kind of a bummer. And also, no Yoel Romero tricks. There was no Yoel Romero doing goofy stuff that got people pissed off. I think he had something taped to his gloves or something like that. Like there was like something weird on his gloves. Big John stopped it in the 3rd round, and it looked like after that, Yoel Romero was like, "Fuck this" or something. So I don't know what it was, but apparently Big John caught something. So maybe there was a Yoel Romero antics. But really, to be honest here, Robert Whittaker won, in my personal opinion, 4-1. 4-1, Robert Whittaker won, and he deserved it. He earned it. Great fight. I can't wait to see these guys rematch. And honestly, I can't wait to see these guys get a full camp. Because honestly, people tend to forget, and I get it, people are going to be like, well, Romero and Whittaker, they just don't have cardio. They only had 6 weeks for this fight. It wasn't like Whittaker and Romero knew they were fighting each other. Because keep in mind, Romero was very up in the air of what the hell he was going to do. Like there was talks about him fighting Anderson in Brazil. You know, he thought he was going to go there and fight Anderson in Brazil. Then he didn't know if he was going to wait until fighting in July. And then later on, they said that he might fight in August and everything like that. So really, to be honest here, it was just like, really, to be honest here, they had no other option. They were just like, oh, well, fight Whittaker in 6 weeks. And Robert Whittaker, he didn't really have a full camp either. So really, to be honest here, I feel like we didn't get to see the best of these fighters because they honestly didn't have a legit full camp to really work on their cardio. But nonetheless, a really good fight between these two. Definitely a good, not a fight of the year contender, but it's definitely a really good main event. And definitely a fight I suggest you check out, especially if you like guys that are just like, you know that they're one-hit knockout type of people, and they're just both respect each other's power, and they both have chins, and they both are really good. Like Robert Whittaker surprised me of how good of a wrestler he is, to be honest, because or how good he can stuff takedowns. Because Yoel Romero, he's no joke when it comes to wrestling. He's a silver medalist. The dude's really, really good. I think he's one of the best wrestlers in MMA. And man, Robert Whittaker, he stuffed it. And it's funny to think about this. Robert Whittaker went up to the middleweight division. Let's not forget, Stephen Thompson, like most people, when Wonder Boy's karate was working, you know, he got caught by Stephen Thompson. He got caught in the Stephen Thompson trap, you know, and he decided, hey, I'm going to go up to middleweight. You know, it's not working here in welterweight. And then all of a sudden now Robert Whittaker, he's just a killer. He killed Uriah Hall. He killed Jacare. Derek the Black Beast. Oh, no, that's the other Black Beast. Derek Brunson. You get what I'm saying? The guy's a killer. It's amazing to me, man, like how you can go up in weight class and you're just so much more dangerous than you were at your original weight class. Sometimes like that whole cutting weight thing, like Joe Rogan says, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But man, Robert Whittaker, dude's a stud. And I'm glad that we have fighters like him. You know, honestly, if Tyron Woodley wants to go at Robert Whittaker, let's do it. Why not? Why not have Tyron Woodley versus Robert Whittaker? It'll be funny. Yeah, Whittaker was still green when fighting Wonder Boy, but honestly, that was just like Wonder Boy just has that, still has that karate magic, man. He still has that karate magic. He works well. Like Whittaker is like the type of fighter Wonder Boy wants to fight. He doesn't want to fight Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley is just like, Tyron Woodley is just like, I'm just gonna counterpunch. Missed the show. Heard Whittaker won. Did I miss anything else? Not really, John Gore. It was an okay UFC show, but by far better than what you expected to be, especially if you see my joke title that I have in the description. You can tell that, like, you know, with all the fights that I was talking about, man. Yeah, you know, it was much better than expected. That's for sure. Anyways, I just want to know if you guys are enjoying the show. Give this video a big old thumbs up. If you guys have any UFC questions, you guys are more than welcome to ask UFC questions. If you guys missed what you heard so far, you can always ask in the chat for me to recap what you missed. But I really recapped the main card. I want to just say rest in peace to Travis Brown. I actually want to pour one for Travis Brown. All right, we're gonna pour one for Travis Brown. All right, I get it. He's marrying Ronda Rousey, but man, pour one to the homie, man. Dude just sucks now, man. I want Greg Jackson to talk about why Travis Brown sucks. Hopefully 214 stays intact. Yeah, we will talk about UFC 214. Upcoming UFC shows that I will not be reviewing, but I will give my predictions. We have UFC Fight Night. Gunnar Nelson versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. This will be taking place on Fight Pass, I believe. Yeah, this is a UFC Fight Pass special, so get your subscriptions now. Joanne Calderwood versus Cynthia Cavello. Stevie Ray versus Paul Fielder. Wow. So yeah, this is a Fight Pass card. So get your subscriptions up if you guys are ready. The next big UFC on Fox 25. Chris Weidman, former middleweight champion, the All-American, taking on Kelvin Gastelum, the tough Ultimate Fighter winner, the former Ultimate Fighter winner, one of these Ultimate Fighter winners. Was Edmund Trevidian in Travis Brown's corner? I missed it. No, I don't know if he was or not, to be honest. I just know that he got submitted in like the worst way, like some weird ass neck crank. Like I saw, honestly, from the Travis Brown fight, from what I saw, he was winning the first round. And then the second round, the other fighter caught him in like a weird ass neck crank and he just stabbed, man. Yeah, I know. Well, that's what this Fight Pass is, full of jobbers. So you better subscribe for this jobber fest, man. Remember when I was making fun of Kevin Chiesa and Michael Lee? I was like, who are these jobbers? Or Michael Chiesa and Kevin Lee. I was making fun of that shit. Dennis Bermudez versus Darren Elkins. Patrick Cummins versus Galan Viante. Jimmy Rivera versus Thomas Almeida. Oh, wow. That's actually a pretty good UFC on Fox card, man. Good shit by the UFC. That's taking place July 22nd. So 2 days before, or a week before John Jones versus Cormier 2. Now, UFC 214, the card of the century that I'm going to. So I'm super hyped for this card. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. No, not Booker T's brother. He's just some little lightweight dude. He's actually a white guy. I think Stevie Ray's actually a white guy, and he's actually pretty fun to watch. Like, he literally knocks people out. He's fun. Fight Pass is the Finn Balor of subscription services. Oh, I want to go that far, man. That's pretty bad. Fight Pass is pretty bad, though. Like, because they offer nothing. They offer all these jobber cards. The biggest card that they've only offered 2 big cards. And they offered Anderson Silva versus Michael Bisping, which was an awesome card to offer. I mean, granted, but the thing was this. If you missed Anderson and Michael Bisping at the random time it started, you could not watch that fight until it was 2 days later. It wasn't on demand. How stupid is that? How do you make a streaming service like that where it's not on demand if the event has passed? If you didn't watch it live, you were screwed. And then the other big card that they offered was Holly Holm versus Betty Correia in Spain, which was even worse because you had to be up at like 10 in the fucking morning to watch this shit. Like, straight up, you had to be up. And so if you missed Holly Holm and Betty Correia, oh, that sucks for you. But why would you even want to pay for that fight? Because Holly Holm, she was losing. It wasn't like Holly Holm was like the Holly Holm that was the bantamweight champion. It was Holly Holm that was losing. Fight Pass sucks, man. Why would you even want to get it? Yeah, the one Fedor fight. But UFC 214, minus losing Dodo, the Super Korean, and Chan Sung Jun, the Korean Zombie, this card is lit. Finally, Anaheim's getting a good show, man. I'm being dead serious, man. Anaheim and Los Angeles, they don't get good shows, man. We really don't. To be honest, the best show I think Anaheim and Los Angeles has ever got was Lesnar versus Velasquez. That's it. That's like the best show that the Los Angeles area has ever got from the UFC. But man, UFC 214 is looking like the greatest, like honestly, the greatest California card ever. I'm going to go that far and say it, man. Because let me read this for you. You have Daniel D.C. Cormier versus John Jones for the UFC light heavyweight title. You have Tyron Woodley versus Damian Maia for the UFC welterweight title. And let's be real here. Jones and D.C., you're only really watching that fight because of the press conference. We know, and we already know that the fight is going to be not really that entertaining. It's not going to be standing up, but you're just watching for the drama. You want all the extra pizzazz. This is like your WWE feud in the UFC. You just want that extra BS. Tyron Woodley and Damian Maia is a very interesting style matchup, but that fight could also be really boring because Tyron Woodley does not like Damian Maia's style, but Damian Maia is not really that exciting doing his style. So it could be really funny. But I feel like the real fight of this card, man, for when it comes to the title fights, the women's featherweight title fight between Cristiano Cyborg Justino taking on Tanya Evinger, Victor, bantamweight champion. That's the real, I feel like that's the real fight because Tanya Evinger, she don't give a flip. Like, literally, she don't care. She is going to go, screw you, Cyborg. I'm fighting you. I don't care. I'm not afraid of your punches, and if I get knocked out, oh well. I am so excited for Tanya Evinger versus Cyborg. It's not even funny how good that fight's going to be. Those two women are going to bang. You got Ricardo Lamas versus Jason Knight. So good. You got Robbie Lawler versus the Cowboy Cerrone. Woohoo! Jimmy Manaua versus some jobber. Henan Barao versus Aljamain Sterling. It has to be at catch weight because Henan Barao obviously can't make bantamweight anymore. I don't know what that means. Super Sage Northcutt. Brian Ortega. Just saying. Sage Northcutt and Brian Ortega are not fighting each other. They're just names that you should watch out for that are fighting on the card. They're fighting nobodies, obviously. Duh. But seriously, yeah. UFC, man, 214. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. And what if Dana White was like, you know what? We're just going to put Amanda Nunes versus Vladatina on this show. That'd be great, man. That'd be absolutely great. But we'll have to wait and see on this one. Man, then I'm looking at all these jobber cards, man. Like all these other jobber cards. You guys want to hear these jobber cards? Let me know in the chat if you want to hear what's past UFC 214. And remember, you guys can ask any UFC questions. I'm free to answer them. And don't forget to give this video a big old thumbs up. They offered RDA versus Alvarez on Fight Pass. Oh, yeah. That was like during International Fight Week last year. I forgot about that. Good job, GMK. That's how it shows how forgettable that fight was. I remembered Holly Holm losing and Betty Correra than that. Hopefully Cyborg has a good weight cut. Yeah, I hope so too, GMK. Straight Shooter wants to see the jobber cards. All right. And for all you MMA fans, when you guys go, what is a jobber? Just because you're not a pro wrestling fan does not mean you can be upset. Jobber cards are pretty much not big stars. They're not main eventers. They're not money draws. They're just kind of there. That's what we call these UFC cards that don't matter. They're jobber cards. They're not really there. I mean, yeah, they could surprise and they could be good cards, but ultimately at the end of the day, you're the only ones who watch them. Only the hardcore fans watch the jobber cards. You know, everyone else don't watch the jobber cards. Do you think DC can Jones this time around can take down Jones? Is that what you're asking, GMK? I think that's what you may be asking. I don't think so, honestly. John Jones, the thing is about takedowns, and here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't tend to understand about when it comes to wrestling. I do have a wrestling background. I wasn't the greatest wrestler, but I understood the science of wrestling, and I understood what it's like to take down someone. John Jones, being a lanky guy, it sucks trying to take him down, especially for DC, who, like, let's be real here. I'm built kind of like DC. I'm not really that tall. I'm not fat, but I'm not like, you know, like obese. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like muscular. I'm not like fucking skinny, but I'm not obese. The problem is with DC and the way that his body's shaped, it's hard for him to take down John Jones because John Jones is just going to do this with his arms and push his little body away. But no, I don't think DC is going to beat John Jones, honestly. John Jones is just going to outclass him, man. John Jones is super good compared to DC. DC's really good. He's not a bad fighter, Daniel Cormier. I don't think he's a bad fighter whatsoever. But the thing about DC, he relies on the fact that he takes you down and he grounds and pounds you. That's it. Like, there's certain fighters that have certain strategies that work for them, and that's DC's strategy. DC's not going to be the guy that's going to strike with you and stuff like that. That's good, Blue Knight. See, body mass is fine. You're going to have the same body mass, man. You know what I'm saying? Body mass, that's good. Yeah, because like DC, man, DC, he's not going to be able to take down or beat down Jones. That's the thing. All right, so let's talk about one jobber card. We have UFC Fight Night Pettis versus Moreno. This is not Anthony Pettis. It's his little brother, Sergio Pettis, and he's taking on Brandon Moreno. And then after that, the rest of the card, we have Dustin Ortiz versus Hector Sandoe, Jose Alberto Quinones versus Diego. And this is in Mexico City, too, by the way, guys. They're not even getting Cain Velasquez in this card. They're just having a bunch of jobbers, man. Let's talk about UFC and Rotterdam, Netherlands. Oh, the Netherlands getting another great card. And guess what? Nothing. Stefan Struve, the skyscraper, is going to take on Alexander Kovalev. No Reem, no Jermaine Duradamain, just this kind of jobber shit. Bunch of other guys. UFC 215. Oh my God, they don't even have a main event for UFC 215. I see Gavin Tucker versus Rick Glenn. Good luck trying to sell out the Edmonton, Alberta, Canada Center. Is Jordan St. Pierre returning on this card? Who knows? So yeah, those are all the cards so far that UFC announced. Who watches the jobber cards? I do when I'm bored. Well, you don't watch the jobber cards when you're bored? I do. I watch the jobber cards, man, dude. Especially when you're at work and you need something to watch while you're working. Shit, you turn on a jobber card. You want one of these guys do have a banger of a fight, man. You just hope they bang and kill each other. It's always good too when you get like heavyweights or little guys, man. It's always fun to watch those guys fight. Hunt and Holmes. Oh, okay. That was the only jobber card you watched. I watch a lot. I watch a lot of them. You know, I watched Black Beast versus Mark Hunt just because I wanted to see Mark Hunt get knocked out and complain again, but that didn't happen, sadly. Because I just wanted to hear him complain, be like, he's a cheetah. He's a dirty shit. Derek Brunson was eating Popeyes, and that Popeyes had steroids in them. He's a cheetah. Dirty shit, motherfucker. Give me my paycheck. Like, you know, I was hoping to hear something like that, but that wasn't the case. Who you got for Weidman versus Kelvin? I don't know. That's such a hard fight because I feel like Chris Weidman's kryptonite is other wrestlers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get someone who can also wrestle, and it's like Chris Weidman's like, what do you want me to do? Like that's literally what I think his kryptonite is, because really Chris Weidman, he was great against all these old Brazilians that couldn't wrestle. But now you get wrestlers against him, and it's like Chris Weidman's like, you know, not that great. I mean, I think Weidman has better striking than Gastelum. But then again, I was going to use Kelvin Gastelum's fight with Anderson Silva to see how good he really was as a striker. But really, to be honest here, I got what's it called? I got probably Weidman winning that fight. 3rd round decision. I think he's a better wrestler than Kelvin Gastelum, at least to my knowledge. So yeah. I heard Weidman has very little brain damage. Oh shit, that could be the case. I mean, didn't he have like a brain scare not too long ago before? That's why he got pulled for the Rockhold fight. So that could be the case. But no, Weidman's not a bad fighter. It's just that like other wrestlers seem to be his kryptonite. You know, he doesn't really do good when guys know how to wrestle. So, you know, and then also he kind of fucked himself up when he fought Rockhold the first time. He did that random spinning kick that he didn't really need to do. So yeah, to this very day, I still haven't watched Weidman versus Silva 1 again, just because that fight's just so stupid. It brings back bad memories as an Anderson fan. You're like, no. When is El Cucuy fighting again? Well, you see, El Cucuy's not. No, you gotta get those douchebag sunglasses for Tony Ferguson. Where the fuck are my stupid TNA glasses? Ah, fuck it. Whatever. Not important. But you got. Oh, there they are. These are very important when you talk about El Cucuy. Well, you see. Straight shooter, El Cucuy ain't going to fight unless it's for the right price, and also ain't going to fight unless you're on my level. That's when I'm going to fight again. that's when you'll see El Cucuy do the salsa inside that cage. Because the thing is that El Cucuy doesn't fight chumps. El Cucuy only fights the champs. El Cucuy! Pretty much Tony Ferguson's a hypocrite. Fuck Tony Ferguson. I hope he gets knocked out. I've never despised a fighter more than Tony Ferguson. He is such a fake person to me. Do you think Dana White's Tuesday night contender series is going to flop? It's on Fight Pass, Blue Knight. So, yes, it's going to flop. Like, honestly, it's stupid. That's way too much fighting. Like, who cares? Like, honestly, who cares if you are fighting on this Dana White Tuesday night contenders, man? Being dead serious, who cares? Like, honestly, I don't care that Dana White's bringing in all these little jobbers to live their dreams, like Make-A-Wish UFC fights. Like, who cares? Oh, they're going to fight in the tough gym. Like, seriously. Who cares you're fighting in the freaking tough gym, man? Good for you. You find the Ultimate Fighter gym. Guess what? Other fighters fighting that gym getting on the Ultimate Fighter season. What? So is this lose these people who lose in the contender series? Do they get to fight on the next season of the Ultimate Fighter? Is that how this works? You know, is that the game plan? Is that the situation that we have here? I'm being that serious. Is that the situation we have here? And stuff like that. Sorry if there's a lot of pausing in this video. I'm just trying to like catch up with it. The UFC streams are not really meant for questions, and normally there would be more to talk about, but I already talked about a lot on this card. There was nothing really controversial to talk about, and normally there's like a bunch of people, but like, you know, this card didn't have that much hype. This is really the hardcore MMA fan base on my channel right now. 205 live of UFC. Who do you think will win between Conor and El Cucuy? That's such a hard fight because Tony Ferguson's a better wrestler than Conor, but Conor has underrated takedown defense. But then again, I haven't really seen Conor. Well, Nate Diaz is pretty lanky, but Nate Diaz is not like a great wrestler. I honestly Conor, like Chad Mendes took down Conor pretty easily, but Conor has like underrated takedown defense at the same time. It's just that Conor on his back is just terrible, and I feel like if El Cucuy gets him on his back, Conor's fucked up. But I feel like in the striking exchange, Conor is a much more smoother striker than El Cucuy for sure. So I honestly got McGregor winning that fight, but it would be a close fight. Like honestly, I feel like there'd be some controversy. I feel like El Cucuy would actually be like considered the winner of the fight, and then Conor McGregor we could get the win because you know you can't have Conor lose to El Cucuy. So yeah, El Cucuy's waiting for El Cucuy's waiting for Khabib. You know, he should fight that Justin Gaethje kid. Justin Gaethje, that dude was balling against Michael Johnson, man. And honestly, you beat Michael Johnson, that puts you up on the ranks. Michael Johnson's like the greatest gatekeeper at the lightweight division. It's the ultimate gatekeeper. You want to make a name, you knock out Michael Johnson. Because the thing about Michael Johnson is this: the dude's a tough fighter. Like Michael Johnson's not like he's not a great fighter. Michael Johnson, he's a good fighter, but he's not great. But Michael Johnson's one of those guys that will give you a tough fight. Like, you're not going to win easy against Michael Johnson. Like, anyone who thinks, like, oh, I'm going to fight Michael Johnson and win easy, you're stupid. I mean, he's had wins over El Cucuy. You know, he's beating top-level guys, Michael Johnson. It's just that he only knows one style. I'll go in there, I'll rock him, sock him, robot with you, but that's pretty much it. Michael Johnson doesn't try anything different. You start beating him on the feet. It's not like Michael Johnson's like, well, I better change levels and start taking you down. No, Michael Johnson's like, well, I better go fucking fight you still. And it's not like he's that great of a wrestler either, Michael Johnson. But Michael Johnson's the ultimate gatekeeper, and he's a great gatekeeper. More divisions need a Michael Johnson in their life, so that way you can judge if you're a great fighter or not. But Michael Johnson, man, what Justin Gaethje did with Tim, God, that's top 5 shit right there, man. So honestly, if I'm Justin Gaethje, you give him El Cucuy, or you make El Cucuy. You honestly, if I'm Dana White, I don't know why you like Tony Ferguson. I would just look at Tony Ferguson, I would bitch slap him and be like, hey, why don't you actually go fucking fight instead of saying El Cucuy every 2 seconds? And then like Dana White makes him fight Kevin Lee or Mike Chiesa, not Mike Chiesa, Kevin Lee and Edson Barbosa or something like that. Like I would make him fight again, to be honest. El Cucuy, Khabib, honestly, all Khabib does is fight fucking like he fought the ultimate gatekeeper Michael Johnson last. That's good because he beat Michael Johnson, the gatekeeper, but he needs to fight someone else, man. But Conor wants to fight Khabib in Russia. The one guy that, everyone says Conor's afraid of is Khabib, the guy that would wrestle him and everything like that. So, yeah. Do I think Amanda Nunes is really sick because doctors cleared her to fight? Maybe she was cleared enough to fight, but maybe in Amanda Nunes' head, she was too sick to fight. Sometimes it happens, man. Sometimes when you're ill, you can't control how you sometimes when you're sick, honestly, you can't control how you feel, to be honest. Like you are just like, you're just like, if it's the stomach or your head or something like that. Yeah, the doctors may clear you and say, yeah, you can do physical activity, but sometimes your body, man, it probably won't give in. And really, to be honest here, it sucks that Amanda Nunes couldn't fight. And honestly, I would much rather have it that she didn't fight this fight than have her after she lost to Shevchenko go, guys, I was sick for this fight. I want rematch. It's like, well, you're gonna get the rematch anyways, because who the fuck else is at 135 that's worth the damn at this point? So, yeah. So, really, to be honest here, if she's not feeling well, she shouldn't have fought. But at the same time, she probably was fine. It was just that her head being sick, everything was just kind of like messing with her, and she just pulled out. You can't do anything about it. Sometimes when you're feeling like that, you can't do anything about it. You just kind of have to like go with the flow and just accept it, That's just how it is. Yo, Cucuy. The GOAT. Looking at Instagram, or it's pretty quiet for this UFC, man. You guys feel like it'd be a lot more active in the chat if like Garbrandt and Dillashaw had their fight, or Nunes and Shevchenko? I definitely felt if El Cucuy and Nate Diaz had their fight, more people would be talking about this show. And if Robbie Lawler and Donald Cerrone actually killed each other too. So. Chase, who is Luke Sanders? The only reason I know Luke Sanders is because he's dating Becky Lynch. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. Maybe he's a good fighter, but I don't know who he is. Yeah, women's MMA has been dead without Ronda Rousey, man. You need Ronda. Ronda was like the queen, dude. She was like so fun to watch. Joan Jett, Bad Reputation, when she came out, was like one of the most hyped songs ever. Yeah, man, it's just really sad, man. Now, low key on a side note, I know this is pretty stupid, but look how shiny this fucking penny is, man. This penny is really shiny, man. This is actually for my work. Like, here's the thing. We get like this company that comes in and they drop off money, right? And sometimes they drop off these shiny ass pennies. Like, look at how nice this penny is, man. Look, it looks super nice. The copper is like legit, man. I would get this copper and put it on as a ring, man. You know what I'm saying? So when I get tipped at work, I do a bunch of like 1 cent transactions with a lot of the guests, because a lot of our stuff is just like $6.99 or like $5.99, and like the guests think they're nice because they'll give me $6 and they go, "Hey, bud, keep the change." And it's just like, well, thanks for the 1 cent tip. So what I did when we had the shiny pennies, I got the shiniest penny of them all. I was like, I want this penny, and now I have this penny. It's like a good luck penny. I don't know, something about this penny is really cool. I know a lot of people are now probably all like, what the fuck? This guy was talking about UFC and now he's talking about a shiny penny from work. But this penny's badass. And if you don't like this penny, I don't know what your problem is. Look how shiny. Have you ever seen a penny that shiny? I know. Misha Tate, man. I miss her. She's just such a beautiful woman, man. Luckily, she's single again, so maybe I have a chance. She seems to like the pudgier type of guys. I might not be as athletic, but I'm definitely ready, Misha. Okay. Anyways, enough trying to solicit women aside. Thank you all very much for tuning in for this live UFC 213 recap and results show. Hope you guys enjoyed for what you saw. If you guys like what you saw, give this video a big old thumbs up. If you're an MMA/UFC fan, definitely hit that subscribe button. I do a lot of MMA content. For the most part on this channel, I like to try to get a live stream in. And if you're a pro wrestling fan, definitely subscribe to this channel because mostly this channel is pro wrestling. And, you know, with a little bit of like NBA and NFL talk on the side. One thing that I am going to note is that, yes, I got my desktop back. I'm on the desktop. Now, the problem with my desktop is there's no sound that's producing from it. If you guys know any way, and I know like everyone's going to be like, oh, Chase, it's probably your speaker settings. I already went through that, through the speaker settings. I even took it into the shop, and the guy didn't even know how to fix it. So if any of you guys know how to fix speaker issues, that'd be awesome. Just let me know. If you guys know anyone or know anyone that can help like troubleshoot speaker issues or figure out what's wrong with my speakers, that'd be great. Because as it is right now, when it comes to doing streams with other people, it's going to be hard because I'll have to switch off with the laptop now. So you see, the laptop I currently have, it's a good laptop. It's like a nice little HP laptop. It's nothing too special. But obviously, I like my desktop a little bit better, you know, much bigger, has a lot more memory, can stream a little bit better than usual and stuff like that. So I like having my laptop available at all times. I like having my desktop more available. It's just more convenient to me. I just like it. And also, it still has Windows 7, which I know a lot of people find very primitive, but I still like Windows 7. I think it's one of the more easier things to function through. Windows 10 is not bad, but I prefer Windows 7 more than anything else. I'm very primitive when it comes to technology. Trust me, if apps were on a flip phone, I would still be using a flip phone today. I hate these smartphones. They're absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, when it comes to shows where I do multiple people, like the Q&As and the pay-per-view predictions, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't like using the laptop, and I don't feel like changing it out. So maybe I'll set up a little recording station for the laptop. So yeah, I'll let you guys know. But if you guys know anyone with the window that knows how to fix Windows and knows a little bit about that little trickery, just let me know. And yeah, that'll be some good times. So thank you all very much for watching this video. I know the last two topics weren't MMA, but I just like to give you guys updates when I can. Like once again, follow me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68, YouTube.com/ChaseOliver. Hit that subscribe button. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Remember, guys, as always, El Cucuy, as we end this MMA stream. Give us one, give it loud, wake up your parents at this time of night, and scream and yell, El Cucuy! Have yourself a good one, guys. Enjoy. Peace.